I'm Leslie.
And I'm Shelly.
And we are
Sisters in Ebert.
Welcome back for another Movie Monday. We're out of our spooky season, moving into our veterans.
Forrest Gump!
The 1994 classic.
I love Forrest Gump so very much. Was this a summer movie?
No. This we watched as kids.
Did we?
Yes.
Oh, wait, yes.
Yes.
I do. Yes, okay.
Yes.
I do recall this.
I don't remember why we watched it as kids, but we did.
I think Dad recorded it off of HBO.
Right, but I mean, like, sometimes he and Mom would just watch movies. I'm surprised they included us.
History.
I think it was PG-13, so I think it was okay.
Yeah. Historically.
Inaccurate.
No, it was very accurate.
It was pretty accurate, yeah.
It was a speculation, or a stipulation that it be accurate.
Yes. So, so this won't be subject to any, like, rating scale like that, but, it wasn't forced upon us.
No,
It
was sort of. It was like, hey, we're going to watch this new movie.
Yeah, and I remember, like, thinking, like, the commercials didn't do it justice, I remember back then, because I'm like, I don't really want to watch it. 94, so I was like 8 years old. Yeah. But it was really
like 95 by the time we saw it.
I liked it a lot.
But
yeah,
it
was probably 9 by the time we saw it.
We liked it.
So we open up to a feather floating to a park, and it lands on Forrest's filthy Nike shoes. He saves the feather and puts it in a copy of Curious George. A bus pulls up at a bus stop showing the year is 1981. As Forrest introduces himself to a nurse who is also waiting and offers her a chocolate and compliments her shoes. Those look like comfortable shoes.
I bet you could walk around all day in shoes like that and not feel a thing. I wish I had shoes like that.
My feet hurt. He discusses Mama and remembers her ideology on shoes. I said no one else needs to be there for the conversation. He is just talking to himself.
He's telling stories. It's like we've all met people like that where it's like they're just chattering along and you're you're just like trying to get through like you're not really part of the conversation.
I bet if I thought real hard I could remember my first pair of shoes.
Squints really hard.
So he remembers his first shoes with leg braces, and so Mama said they was my magic shoes. She said they'd take me anywhere.
What's his mom's? Sally Field is his mom.
Yeah.
And she is perfect for this role. Like, she is so good.
And she's only
She's 10 years older than him.
Is she older? I thought she was a couple years younger.
No, 10 years older. Yeah. Okay. But still.
Yeah. Yeah. So he was named after Nathan Bedford Forrest, a founder of the KKK. And Mama always tried to build Forrest's self-esteem. She gave him his name to show him that to remind him that sometimes people do things that just don't make no sense.
Mm-hmm. And like, there's so many life lessons in this movie that it's just
and
so many good takeaways.
Yeah, aspects of history that he misinterprets.
Yes, and just like being a good person. And like his mom was his cheerleader
his whole life. So nice. She loved him.
We also didn't mention this is Tom Hanks.
Yep, Tom Hanks.
Incredible.
Is Forrest. They lived in a boarding house. He lived in a boarding house growing up. His mom rented out rooms to make money in her family's big house in the South in Greenbow, Alabama. We cut to Mama trying to get Forrest into public school, and she goes above and beyond to get him in.
Yeah, his IQ is too low.
It's like 2 points underneath the minimum, the state minimum.
Like, it's like 2 or 5 low points. Like,
we're talking about 5 little points here.
Yeah. And then
surely there must be something can be done.
And there was something done in the boarding house
with the principal,
who
he was also the principal in Growing Pains.
Oh,
yeah, I recognized him from that.
Good for him.
Yeah, he's typecasted too, just like Carl
from Family.
So his first brush with history is Elvis staying in the boarding house and learns his signature dance step from Forrest.
Yeah, because he's got the braces, so he's like kind of jerky with his hips. And
what's
that
weird little move you're doing there with your hips? Show that to me again.
I love that guitar.
Yeah. Once it was on TV, though, Mama felt it was too vulgar for Forrest to see for children. It was on like a storefront TV.
Forrest. That young man was on TV.
Yeah. Mama didn't make the connection. So we cut to the first day of school where Forrest meets Jenny, his BFF, on the bus.
He's the only one that will let him sit.
Why were these kids being such jerks?
No, they're just awful. The 50s seems like a terrible time to grow up.
It does. They're always together. Jenny never wanted to go home. So she was always at Forrest's house or they were outside.
I didn't understand this as kids.
No, me neither.
I just thought her dad was grumpy. And that's why she didn't want to be home.
I didn't get it either.
And not that he was abusive. I didn't understand.
Yeah. One day, running from bullies, braces broke off Forrest's legs, and he learns he's a very fast runner.
Super fast. Can outrun cars.
Yeah. Jenny, it's revealed that Jenny was sexually and physically abused by her father, because he was always kissing and touching her and her sisters. Yeah.
They never mention her sisters again. You don't know what happened to them. You don't even see them.
You never see them. Yeah. They eventually went to live at their grandmother's house, though. And then Jenny's life improved. We cut to high school. Forrest is still fast, and he catches the football coach's attention and becomes a star player in college.
Yeah. I got to go to college.
Yeah. He doesn't know when to stop running, though. The marching band makes signs to signal him to stop in the end zone.
Everybody's yelling, stop! And a big banner.
Because he just kept going. Down. He got
in the locker room.
Yeah, he run into the locker room. Because he didn't understand the rules. They just used him for his speed. So should have gone to track and field instead.
Yeah, that's true.
Less rules. Next brush with history is integrated college. The story so he's there when they integrated the schools and ma'am, you dropped a book, ma'am.
They want to go to school with us.
They're using a slur and Forrest thinks that the kids talk about raccoons. Well, when raccoons come back,
I'll just chase them off with a broom.
They wouldn't. So he thinks raccoons want to go to school. So story continues with next woman at the bus stop.
The first lady left. She was not into his story.
She was ignoring him. She was a nurse who just got off.
She just wanted to read her book.
He visits Jenny at all-girls college, and Jenny wants to be a famous singer, but first sparks Forrest's sexual awakening in her dorm.
And ruins her roommate's bathrobe.
I didn't get that.
Yeah, he says, I think I'll ruin your roommate's bathrobe. And whilst they're showing the roommate laying there wide awake, hearing all this.
He meets JFK on an all-American football team. He was the president, so he was, giving them their awards and all that.
And you got to have as many Dr. Peppers as you want. I must have had me about 15 Dr. Peppers. So then when he meets JFK, he's really got to go to the bathroom.
How do you feel, son?
I have to pee.
Yeah.
I believe he said he got to go pee. Yeah. It's great because they take actual historical footage and then
dub it.
Yeah, dub it so that it looks like this is the conversation that's happening. And put Forrest
Gump
into it.
Yeah.
It looks so good.
Yeah, it does. So he graduates college after playing football for 5 years. Enlists in the Army. Usually you do that to get out of... You go to college to get out of going to the Army.
But it's perfect. I feel like it's perfect for him. He needs the next
structure
step.
And he needs to be told what to do.
Yeah, and that's perfect. And that's why he's very good when he's
a good soldier because he does whatever he's told. He meets Bubba, his next buddy on the bus, who is obsessed with shrimping.
And I never really understood, but they have similar IQs.
Yes,
they are both...
Yeah. Bubba is also probably on the spectrum at some point, and his fixation is shrimp boats.
Yes.
And,
but again, nobody wants to sit with Forrest on the bus, and Bubba offers a seat. It's just...
Yep. He's obsessed with shrimping, and he's from Battery, Louisiana. And Bubba got drafted, though.
Yes.
Forrest enlisted. And he will do that himself after the military because he was going to go be a shrimp boat captain, but he got drafted. So he got, they're having to go into Vietnam, essentially. Forrest did very well in the Army, all following directions. Remember how fast he put his weapon together?
Yeah, that is a new company record gum! Why did you do that?
Yeah.
Because you told me to.
Well, good, because you keep that up.
Now disassemble your weapon.
Yeah. Because he thought he was lying at first. God, there's no way you're done already. As he's in the barracks one night, he sees Jenny in a Playboy.
Yes.
She got in trouble by
she's wearing her college sweater.
With her college sweater.
Yes, so she got kicked out of her college.
Yeah. Which that was a common Playboy spread, the girls of college or whatever. Especially in that era, because it was still up and coming at that point.
Hugh Hefner was young.
Yeah. Ish. Yeah. Went to see her perform in Memphis nude. Again, tries to save her. Realizes Forrest is in the military and being sent to Vietnam. Yeah. So
So Forrest thinks her dreams come true because she wants to be a famous singer, and here she is in a strip club singing on a stage naked. And but he's so proud of her, and he just doesn't understand. That's not the dream here. But he's so proud of Jenny
because he thinks she's achieving everything she wants to
and
achieve.
He just loves her so much,
and he doesn't understand, the bad, So she tells him to run away if things get bad because she realizes that he's being shipped out to Vietnam.
Yeah, and she's like, don't try to be a hero, just run.
And I said, Jenny's increasingly suicidal as the movie goes on.
Yeah, she was like, what if... what did she say? They jump...
What if I could fly away right now?
They were like,
fly off this bridge.
Yeah. And he's like, what do you mean? He doesn't...
Yeah, he doesn't get it.
Understand it.
Because she's just flirting with death all the time. Because, she's not happy with her life choices.
She's just broken from childhood.
Because this was in the 50s and the 60s, and nobody, knew to treat that stuff, and, or got her help.
Yeah, so, once she was with Grandma, that was like, oh,
you're doing all better. Yeah, you're fine.
You're all right.
Yeah. So the next we cut to a chopper into Vietnam. And Forrest and Bubba meet their new Lieutenant Dan Taylor. And Bubba's interested in shrimping opportunity in Vietnam.
I'll bet there's good shrimp.
They learn to change their socks whenever they stop.
Carry your feet.
Yeah. Lieutenant Dan wanted to... Well, first they go and salute him. Don't salute me!
There are snipers everywhere!
And that's true. You didn't acknowledge your superiors there, even though, on base, back in America, you would.
Yeah.
That's a big no-no when you got...
War.
Yeah. Well, that was the first time America participated in guerrilla warfare, too. So they weren't familiar with this kind of tactic until they got there, and it was a whole mess.
Yeah.
Because they did it in Vietnam very different than how they did it over here for the longest time. Okay, so Lieutenant Dan wanted to live up to his family legacy as someone fought and died in every American war.
And they show him as these people.
Yeah, him as Revolutionary War, a War of 1812, Civil War.
They're all just falling and dying.
World War I, World War II.
That's his legacy.
Yep. So he's convinced he's gonna, fight and die in this war. So 2 rules are take care of your feet and don't get killed. And Forrest doesn't want to let him. I sure hope I don't let him down.
And Bubba's just there.
Yep. Yeah. So they're there for 4 months during the rainy season. And best friends and partners with Bubba, and he invites Forrest to be a shrimping boat, shrimping boat
first mate
with him someday.
Yeah, Bubba will be the captain someday. When they get out of the army, that's what they're gonna do.
We're gonna buy a boat, and we'll just shrimp all day, and you know what? All you can eat.
Okay, Bubba.
He's like, you just need something else to be told to do, And, so, they lean up against each other so I don't have to sleep with their heads.
Sleep with our heads in the mud.
So, Forrest writes Jenny often, who's now a hippie, and she's kind of floating all over, going out to California, the Haight-Ashbury district, and all that. Forrest platoon gets ambushed just as the rain stops. And he runs, but he goes too far and he's alone, which is not a good situation in Vietnam. So he goes back. He wants to find Bubba, and he saves most of his hurt platoon looking for Bubba, including Lieutenant Dan, who wanted to be left to die and called for fire by air. Dan didn't want to leave the platoon, so he wanted to be left, like kind of like a captain goes down with the ship.
Yeah, he
didn't want to be saved. I'm supposed to be here. The platoon needs to like get out before I do. You know. So he was upset that Forrest lifted him and carried him out.
And he had just called in an airstrike,
too. So an airstrike's coming in. They go he goes in one more time to find Bubba, who is severely injured after Forrest was bit by something, carrying out Lieutenant Dan.
Something bit me!
Something jumped up and bit me. So he carries out Bubba as the airstrike comes in, and he makes it to the surviving platoon, but Bubba died with Forrest holding him. Yeah, I want to go home. Oh, I know.
I cried several times throughout this movie, and that was one of them.
Me too. Yeah. And I don't know if I noted this, if I have any facts or not. Can I just check really quick?
Yes, okay? We'll allow it.
Because if not, I want to insert it here. I do have it at the end, so I will.
You could just share it now. On the edge of our seat.
Well, it'll make everybody
fine. Gotta stay to the end now. If you want your fun back.
So next, there's a man. We cut to a man at the bus stop, and he's like, "It was a bullet, wasn't it? That bit you?" Yeah. And,
yes. Sir. Right in the butt.
They called that $1 million wound, but government must keep that money.
I ain't seen it done. I love that. So literal.
Yeah. Lieutenant Dan was in the next bed as he lost his legs below the knee.
This is my favorite scene that I quote constantly whenever we partake in this, because it's him coming in. The best part was the ice cream. You could eat as much as you want. So he's in there coming and wheeling in with his butt in the cast. And like he's licking his ice cream. Lieutenant Dan, ice cream.
Got you some ice cream too.
So anytime we have ice cream in our family, I say, Lieutenant Dan, ice cream.
And Lieutenant Dan just takes it without a word and throws it in the bedpan.
Tosses it. Like he is peeved.
Well, Lieutenant Dan is checked out.
Yeah,
he is shut down.
Beyond him. And he has been amputated. He is
pissed.
Yeah.
So he lost his legs below the knee. While Lieutenant Dan did, while in hospital care, all letters from Jenny have been returned to Forrest. So they all came back. She didn't get any of them. And Forrest just has his butt, so he's doing okay.
Eating ice cream and recovering.
Forrest learns to play ping pong while he's recovering and is very good at it because they didn't send him back to Vietnam.
It's funny at this part because the guy teaching him says, like, the most important thing is keep your eye on the ball. And then from here to this, every moment in the movie, he doesn't blink when he's playing. Because that's what he was told.
Okay.
Keep your eye on the
ball. Yeah. So, Lieutenant Dan is extremely angry. He didn't die with his men and no longer has purpose or direction in life because that was his plan. He was just going to die in the military one day. Forrest, what a flippin' way to live.
I know. But he's like, do you know what it's like to not be able to use your legs? And Forrest's like, yes, I do.
Yeah.
And he's like,
he's
so mad.
And Forrest did because of his leg braces when he was a kid.
Nobody else knows that.
No, nobody else.
Except these people on the park bench.
He probably thinks he's like sassing him or something. Yeah. So, and not even the same people on the park bench. Yes. They missed that part.
There's like 500 people cycling through this story.
Yeah. Forrest is awarded a Medal of Honor.
He saved all those people out of the jungle.
And Lieutenant Dan was sent home. Oh, no, they sent him home. They meets President Johnson and moons him by his own direction.
He's like, boy, I'd really like to see that when he tells him about his wound.
He's like, yeah. He's confused. So he gets accidentally put into a protest against Vietnam with other vets in D.C. while trying to sightsee in the city after he gets his medal. So there's other Vietnam vets there, but they're all like they've been out for a while. Like, they're pissed. They probably got drafted.
End this war. Get them home. That's their stance.
Yep. Forrest gives a speech to protesters by accident and reunites with Jenny, who is in the crowd. Which I didn't get, like that guy messing with the board, like the soundboard and everything too. Like,
as a kid I was like, I don't know what that is. Why don't they want him to speak?
Yeah, exactly. It's some protester guy, and he was. This is the protest. Yeah, guy. I was thinking it was the American flag shirt guy.
No, he's the one leading the protest.
F this and F that.
I remember Mom and Dad brought this tape to show to Graham and Pal to show our grandparents. And I remember that part and Graham going, "Oh my!" Like
I remember that too.
And I was like embarrassed at that point.
I was like, "Why?" Like I couldn't figure it out because you can't really hear it.
Yeah, but I remember being embarrassed, like because I remember saying like, "Oh, his language."
Yeah.
Even though Graham had a filthy mouth when we were playing cards, the F word never came out of there though.
S word, yeah. But only when you're playing cards are you allowed to call somebody that. So
true.
Dashell, this was war. This wasn't cards. So get on the trolley here. So he reunites with Jenny, who's in the crowd. Jenny is involved with the Black Panthers and other radical protest groups at this point. She gets hit by her boyfriend, who Forrest then attacks.
This is something we always go to each other.
Anytime Shelly and I screw up anything with each other, it's not even at a party.
No.
But we always saw how to fight in the Million Black Panther Party. Because Forrest says that Sarah had to fight in the Million Black Panther Party. Which we didn't get as kids.
No, we didn't get it at all.
I didn't get it till I was in like high school and college history.
Yes.
Forrest reveals he wanted to be her boyfriend. I could be your boyfriend.
Yeah.
But Jenny changes the subject, and Forrest gives her his Medal of Honor.
Yeah, I want you to keep this.
But she goes with a whole boyfriend instead. I put the worst. I'm starting to get irritated with Jenny at this point.
Oh, I'm so irritated with Jenny. Yeah. She is not trying to get out of her funk.
Exactly. Forrest now plays ping pong for the Army, and he's sent to China on the All-American team. He meets John Lennon on a talk show. Was it Johnny Carson, I think? And sparks the idea for the song Imagine.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have any religion. No religion either. That young man went on to... he reunites with Lieutenant Dan, who is mad Forrest got a Congressional Medal of Honor and lives in a hotel and in a wheelchair with no legs. And Dan's in a really low place in life. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he is like, well, you know? Like,
if it isn't.
Yeah. Forrest Gump. Yeah. Lieutenant Dan is semi-trying to find Jesus, but too angry.
Yeah, so like everybody at the VA is trying to get
Jesus
him.
This and Jesus that. Yeah,
they're sending a priest to talk to him, trying to help him.
Because he is involved with the VA, so that's positive.
Yes, yeah.
Probably for the medical but
stuff, yeah.
It's positive that he's listening to the other stuff, too.
Yeah, but he is not on board with
he's not. He's not ready to listen.
He thinks God has deserted him.
Because he didn't live up to his legacy.
Yeah, and this isn't how it's supposed to be.
So Forrest is still intending to get a shrimp boat to honor Bubba, and Lieutenant Dan thinks it will never happen. He thinks he's nuts.
Yeah, and he's like, "Okay, when you do that, I'll be your first mate.
You be a shrimp boat captain, okay?" So New York City, it's New Year's Eve, 1972. Forrest with Lieutenant Dan, and Jenny's leaving her most recent boyfriend. She has she has the same gold vein mirrors that I do. And I thought they were so ugly then. And I didn't care for them when we bought our house either, but we had to replace a couple because they broke. Like it was like little
tiles.
Yeah, tiles of them. It's those gold vein 70s style that I thought were so tacky and gross. I ended up keeping one for the corner of each. Like we still went with mirrors to open the space up. But they're very expensive now. Very expensive.
They're antiques now.
Yeah, I guess they are. Because like when I looked it up, I was like, well, can't we just buy a replacement one to fix it?
One that's broken.
No.
No, we can't afford that.
No. It was like $200 for one of the time. Oh, yeah, it was like nuts.
Jenny. She should have saved her mirrors.
She should have saved her mirrors.
Those off.
Well, she was too busy doing blow off of them.
I know. But yeah, it's sad at this point because like Forrest is always like, I was thinking of Jenny.
Yeah.
Like
she's always like in the lowest spot, and like he's always just trying to like, okay, well he gets a lot of crap thrown at him in life too, and he just picks himself up and goes.
He turns lemons into lemonade.
Yeah. So next he meets President Nixon on the national ping pong team.
So I went to the White House again and I met the president again.
he gets Forrest into the Watergate Hotel. He's like, I know a much nicer place than where you have you staying. Oh, no. Where are you staying at? No. I'm talking to my secretary. She's going to get you in a much nicer place. So he's the one who reports the Watergate break-in. There were people shining flashlights in my room all night. Like, it was coming through the window.
And this part was accurate because when the security guard, like, when he answers the phone, you hear him say his name, and that was the guy's name that actually reported it.
Okay. So Nixon resigns then in the next scene, and Forrest is discharged from the military and goes home. So his 4 years were up.
He just starts running.
Yep.
So I went home and he's running out of the gym.
Yeah, he just sets down, or he takes his paddle.
Yeah.
And he just
yeah, he like looks at it like, I'm keeping this.
Yeah, I'm keeping this. Yeah. I really like using my own paddle.
Yeah.
So he came home to Mama, who hooked up a large ping pong endorsement deal for $25,000. And so he, at first, he didn't want to, because she's like, if you just use their paddle. And he's like, well, I like using my own paddle, Mama. And she's like, just hold, it's $25,000.
Yeah, for
just try to hold it.
Yeah.
See how it feels. See if it grows on. Well, that Mama was right. He's like, so he used he took Mom out for a real nice dinner and a bunch of other things.
Yeah, got new suit.
Yeah, and a haircut. And he used the remaining $24,000 and change to buy a shrimping boat after going to Louisiana to pay his respects to Bubba and his mama. Bless you.
Sorry, excuse me.
He has a tough time catching shrimp. And he names his boat. Somebody said, "You gonna give that boat a name? It's bad luck to have a boat without a name." Yeah. So he named it the only name he wanted.
The most beautiful name I've ever heard.
Yeah, Jenny. So he names the boat Jenny. Jenny is very strung out. We cut to Jenny.
Yeah, actual Jenny, not boat Jenny.
Yeah, and makes a suicide attempt, trying to jump off again a building.
And
like
she's like
she goes right to like the immediate. And she's on a ledge.
I still get like nervous, fluttery.
She's in these really high heels, like 6-inch heels,
and walking along this ledge of a skyscraper,
a teeny tiny, and she's like
holding on to the top.
She's all coked up too, so like she's not in her right mind. And
then she kind of like snaps out of it.
Well, she slips with her shoe, and then she
gets down and is like rocking, hugging herself. Jenny.
Yeah,
shake her.
I know. Okay, Lieutenant Dan comes to see Forrest, who swims to dock.
Jumps off his boat and swims over where
and lets his boat crash, and he shows up to be Forrest. Yeah. I told you I'd be your first mate. Well, I'm a man of my word. Here I am.
I love that part too. It's like he didn't have to do that.
Dan's also looking for direction in life.
He doesn't know what else to do, so he's... And he hears about Forrest somehow. Oh, he wrote him. He wrote him a letter.
Yeah, and that's what he said. Like, in those days, too, there wasn't a lot of opportunity for Lieutenant Dan, you know.
Yeah, what else is he going to do? So might as well try something new. He goes with Forrest.
Yep. So there's still no shrimp luck. Forrest starts going to church every Sunday to pray for shrimp.
Lieutenant Dan, maybe you better start praying.
Yeah. Lieutenant Dan's still semi-unbeliever and challenges God in a storm. Like, Dan's in the back just, like, with his arms crossed at church. Like,
he said that he's got a drink. He had a bottle of liquor.
It was like a flask, wasn't it?
No, I think it was a bottle of liquor. And then, and he's just drinking in the church, like...
He's just there because he's with Forrest.
Yeah, he's certainly not believing still. And so then there's a big storm, and he's at the top of the mast.
Yep, he challenges God in the storm.
Go ahead, send more.
Yeah. Most boats in Biola Battery are wrecked in the hurricane. This was Hurricane Carmen, and only Forrest's boat was left.
And his mom sees him.
His mom's worried because she's watching the TV, and she's like, "Oh no!" Like she knows he's down there, and then you see him in the background, like,
Forrest on TV.
Yeah. So now he's getting a ton of shrimp without competition, and Bubba Gump Shrimp was born.
A multi-millionaire
Which we ate there once at Universal. Very good. It's fun. It's super fun. It makes you really nostalgic for the movie. Like when we went in there, I was like, I don't need to worry about it. And I'm like, oh, I remember that part. I'll
have to go to one.
Yeah, they're really, it's fun for kids too, because they bring out like, they're like, I know my kids ordered something that was like a fried like chicken tenders basket or something, and it's in like the thing, it's like a newspaper, but it's all like about Forrest Gump.
I love
and stuff. Yeah, and they have this neat system which I wish every restaurant would have on the table. Like it said like it'll say, "Run, Forrest, run," and that means you need the waitress for something, you need a drink or something like that. So you flip it, and then like you or no, you keep it up like when you don't need them, and then it says stop.
Stop, Forrest!
When you do need them, like for if you need a refill or something.
I guess.
Yeah, and I was like, I wish every restaurant would do that because there's so much that like sometimes like I really want the waitress and you can't
like
find
looking like please.
Yeah. So yeah, bubblegum shrimp was born. Lieutenant Dan thanked Forrest finally for saving his life and jumped in the water, making peace with God.
I love that part.
Yeah, me too.
It's just so like
peaceful.
You see his face.
Yeah,
like,
it's just
the
changed.
worry is gone.
He let down the load he was carrying. You know, like he just set it down. So Forrest gets a call that Mama is sick and immediately goes to her. She passed away from cancer, and Forrest was with her when she passed. Yeah, and
that part's so sad too.
I know.
It's just like you died on a Tuesday.
I know.
Like,
he's talking to the grave, and that's his only person in life.
Yeah,
you know, like,
she was the one that
his constant
directed him constantly. He always had a home to go home to. Like
the only person who loved him unconditionally.
And like Jenny's so in and out of his life.
Yeah, he can't count on Jenny. He can kind of count on Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah, like now he's got Lieutenant Dan
but,
too.
Yeah, but it's not his mom. You know?
Yeah, and like I think at this point he says like he doesn't go back to Lieutenant Dan. He stays at the house.
Yep, he stays with the house. Lieutenant Dan took care of Forrest's Bubba Gump money after Forrest didn't go back to work with him and invested it in this fruit company. Apple Computers.
You just see the logo at the top of there. Some fruit company.
Macintosh or something, yeah.
He said, we don't have to worry about money no more.
Yeah. So that's good. One less thing. So he's working for the county of Greenbow or the township of Greenbow or whatever, and he's cutting grass
for free because he doesn't need the money. He just likes doing it so much.
So I cut that grass for free.
And he sends Bubba's mama.
Oh yeah, he sends Bubba's mama because she thinks she's like, you stupid or something. That's like one of the things. Because like when he says that he's gonna go be a shrimp boat captain.
Yeah, he went to meet her and pay his respects to her.
And she's like, not having it.
So then he sent a check because they promised 50-50.
And so I sent Bubba's mama Bubba's share, even though Lieutenant Dan said I was nuts.
Well, when you're a multi-millionaire, billionaire at this point, that's a lot of money. So she saw the check and she just passes out.
Well, first is that Forrest gave money to Bayou Labatry Baptist Church, which was where he was praying.
Yeah, the church is being like reconstructed or whatever.
Which is where he was praying for shrimp. And then gave more to the fishing hospital and gave Bubba's mama Bubba's share. And so she just passes out, and she didn't have to work in no one's kitchen no more. And so she is somebody working in her kitchen now. Jenny's down and out. So shows up again at Forrest's house. Yeah, because that's the only time she ever shows up.
Well, really, Forrest is her constant.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, he had his mama to go back to. She didn't have anybody besides Forrest. So
because her grandma died. Yeah. They took walks and they stumbled on Jenny's dad's house and destroyed the dilapidated windows with rocks.
And her shoes. She threw her shoes.
Yeah.
Too.
Yep. And then Jenny and Forrest had a nice visit. Otherwise, gave him Nike shoes. Forrest asked Jenny to marry him. She says no, but proceeds to sleep with Forrest that night. And then disappears by morning without a word. I said real mind F. Yeah, because, like, he thinks...
Yeah. That part when he, like, asks her to marry him, like... Yeah. Because he's just like, I am not a smart man, but I know what love is. Oh. And it's like, yeah. He has the purest form of love, and she just walks all over him.
I know.
And then you could tell she felt bad, because, like, she processed that, and that's why she came in that night. She's like, Forrest, I do love you. Yeah. But then leaves him in the morning. Yeah,
without a word in a cab.
And this part's so sad because he's just going room to room, like looking where she was.
Well, she left behind his Medal of Honor and a quiet, huge house. And that's when Forrest takes off, right? And that's when he has his mentee bee.
Yeah, he had a little mentee bee. Yeah, I just need to run.
Yep.
So he starts running.
He's going, and he got to the edge of town. Well, he thought he'd keep going, so he got to the edge of the Greenbow County. He thought he'd keep going.
Ran all the way to the ocean.
The great state of Alabama. But then when he got there...
he just keeps on going.
So he eventually decides to run across country, and he would think a lot. Ran across the country for more than 2 years. Picked up by the news outlets, and others started to join him. And I put indirectly sparks the shit happens bumper sticker logo and the smiley face logo.
Yes. He made a lot of money off
that. Because there was like people he would run with who also were kind of down, or not. He would just run across them. They wouldn't necessarily run with him. Maybe for a little bit.
Yeah,
but
some people were joining him too. It became like a movement. Like they were looking for direction.
They were looking for direction. They thought he had answers. It was kind of like a mini cult.
Yeah,
but he
was like,
speak to them.
People gave him hope. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah. So he doesn't say a lot. He ended up running for 3 years, 2 months, and 14 days and 16 hours, working to put the past behind him so he could move forward. Because Mama said you have to put the past behind you
before you can move ahead.
So, like Mama said, and abruptly goes home, perplexing his
he
followers.
Just stops and is just,
I'm tired.
I think I'll go home now. So it's like he cleared his head.
Yep.
It took him
him that long to do it.
But he did it.
That's why, like, anybody who's in treatment or in therapy and thinking about doing stuff, it's not a quick fix.
No, it takes time to work through things.
Yep. And however you get to where you need to be, that's A-okay. All right. So one day, he got a letter from Jenny in Savannah to come see her, which is what brings us to 1981 at the bus stop.
Sitting at the bus stop.
So that means he got into Apple computers in like the 70s. Like,
he's a billionaire.
He's a billionaire. Yeah. So he gets to Jenny's apartment after he finds out like he doesn't need to be at the bus.
The sweet old lady's been talking to.
It's like 4 blocks that way.
Just 4 blocks that way. And then he just
goes
by and like runs. He's so excited to see Jenny.
Yeah.
Because it's been 2 years, 3 years?
3 years, 2 months, 14 days, and 16
he was running, yeah.
So at least.
Yeah.
At least.
Because she saw him on the news. She was waitressing.
He was on the cover of something, too, wasn't it? Like Runner's World.
But she saved all his clippings.
But yeah, she saw him on TV while she was waitressing.
Yeah, that's when she first saw it, to know what he was up to.
Yep. So he gets to Jenny's apartment, and she kept a scrapbook of his running, like news clippings and things like that.
I love this. Well, every time they show a photograph of Forrest, his eyes are closed. He blinks in every photo. So, like, all of the scrapbook, his eyes are closed.
Even on the cover of Runner's World?
Yeah. And, like, earlier, and they show him, like, meeting presidents and stuff. Like,
yeah, his eyes are always shut.
And, when he's with Lieutenant Dan on the cover of the Shrimping Man, the Fortune, it was Fortune 500 magazine. Fortune 500,
yeah, I noticed
his
that
eyes are closed there too. I love it.
That's
the attention to detail.
Yes. So Jenny apologizes for being mixed up for so long, and he meets Jenny's young son Forrest, named after his daddy.
Forrest. So, and he gets taken aback.
And this is where I got mad. Because I said she cheated Forrest of nearly 4 years of his son's life.
That's true.
I put very smart, of course. Forrest, I put, Forrest forgives Jenny. But I put that's when I got ticked off. Because I'm like, now you're screwing with a kid too.
Yeah. He's like, I feel like Jenny phrased it well. Like, you didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing you have to do.
Well, he probably was really like panicked too because like they weren't married.
Yeah, like he's
very traditional.
He's thinking like, what do I do with this information? And she talked him through like Mama did. Like she explained it just how he could understand.
Plus, he's thinking like, oh, I didn't take care of this kid.
She's like, you didn't do anything.
She did everything wrong for us.
She did, and I think she realized it though.
She better.
That's why she wrote to him. She wouldn't have written to him otherwise. She didn't care.
There are details about to emerge. I don't know that that's the only
billionaire.
Nope, not that. Oh. That she's sick.
Well, yeah,
but she needs somebody to take care of this kid.
I guess.
He's going to be a ward of the state.
Babysitter.
He's going to be a ward of the state.
Okay. We'll get to it.
Oh! I'm so angry at Jenny at this point. So
Forrest goes to sit with little Forrest, little Haley Joel Osment.
Yep, in his first role.
He was discovered on a Pizza Hut commercial.
Oh, really?
That's how they found him. He was in a Pizza Hut commercial. And they were like, look how cute he is. Let's get him.
Yeah.
And he sits next to him and they both tilt their head to the side.
Yeah, watching Sesame Street, Bert and Ernie. So Jenny explains she's sick with an unknown virus that the doctors don't know what it is, and Forrest brings Jenny and little Forrest home. He asks,
come stay with me in Greenbow, I'll take care of you.
Jenny asks Forrest to marry her, and he agrees, and Lieutenant Dan comes to the wedding with his new prosthetic legs, and he's doing well with fiancée Susan. They're custom made, titanium. like the space shuttle.
New legs.
Magic legs. Yeah, new legs.
Do you think there was any significance to Susan being Asian, like Vietnam?
I was thinking that too. Like maybe he made peace kind of with that whole thing too.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Like,
because maybe
it was never discussed.
No, it was never discussed. And I don't think she was Vietnamese. I think she was like Polynesian or something like that. But or Korean maybe.
No,
I don't know.
No idea.
I don't know. Like they don't go into it, but just her appearance.
Yeah.
But I do think that maybe, you know, maybe he did have some anger because he's got his legs taken and, you know, not his life.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it right. But yeah, I wonder that too. Because Susan is Asian and he's got his fiance. And so things are good for him too. He's happy for Forrest.
And he's all clean cut, clean shaven.
Like, it's the first time we've seen him without long hair.
He looks like Lieutenant Dan again.
Yeah.
Like when he first met Forrest.
Like he was in the military.
Yes. Yeah, he's back to himself.
Yep. He came full circle. They're able to live, Forrest, Jenny, and little Forrest are able to live as a family for a short while. Jenny gets sicker and then Jenny regrets her whorish ways and passes away. Because she sees how good it is.
Yeah.
With her family.
This whole part, Forrest is like telling her about his travels and like what he's
all
seen,
his experiences,
the beautiful moments, and she's like, I wish I could have been there with you.
It's like you were.
Yeah. Because he just loved her so much.
I know, and she was terrible to him. So he buried her under their tree.
She died on a Saturday.
Silliest the days! I know he said it, but I couldn't remember what I knew Mama died on Tuesday. I couldn't remember.
Okay, and this part too. Yeah. Because little Forrest sent a note.
Yeah.
And Forrest said, I'm not supposed to read it, so I'll just leave it here.
Yeah,
like,
he doesn't.
Mom.
Yeah, it's a mom, yeah. I know. And Forrest explains that he had her dad's house bulldozed to the ground.
Yeah.
Forrest Jr. is doing well, and he's well cared for by Forrest Sr. They're still working to figure out life without Jenny there. He gets a small sign from a large flock of birds that flies off in their tree.
Because that was her, like, they prayed when she was a kid, like, please God, make me a bird and help me fly far, far away.
And little Forrest takes Curious George to school for the first day of school.
Forrest's book.
He was like, my favorite book. Grandma used to read that. Yeah. For show and tell. And he gets on the school bus with the same driver. What's her name?
Dorothy Harris.
Dorothy Harris, yeah. And she's like, this is because at the beginning, Forrest doesn't want to get on the bus to school because she's a stranger. And he's like, well, I'm Forrest Gump. And she's like, I'm Dorothy Harris. And he's like, well, now we ain't strangers no more.
And she gives him a big old smile.
Yeah, and so then...
She was smoking a cigarette in that scene. Now in this one, she's chewing a big old wad of gum.
Yeah.
So I think they cut out that you can allow to smoke on the school bus.
Yeah, but when little Forrest gets on, she knows it's the same house and everything. And she goes, now this is the bus to school. And he's like, yep, and you're Dorothy Harris and I'm Forrest Gump.
She gets this big old smile.
And I put, they will be okay, I hope, as a feather from the book blows away. I know, now that I'm all teary. Alright, so that's the end of the movie. I did know, like, my big fact for this movie was that the abrupt ambush scene in Vietnam is praised by vets for being the most accurate in movie history, for the disorientation and the chaos that's depicted. Also, the lack of visibility.
Yeah, you never see the enemy
at all
at any point in this
movie. And they said that
it
is the most, ironically, this movie that can be so goofy at times portrays that the most accurately. It's been praised by several Vietnam vets. Yeah.
This is a major award winner.
It didn't win Best Picture.
Yeah, it did.
I thought so.
This was such a good movie all around.
Yeah,
it has the
comedy,
the historical elements, the drama, the feel good, everything. Works in this movie. I don't think there's a bad moment. I don't either. Movie. There's no scene that I'm bored in. There's no scene that I want to skip. That's this is stupid.
Yep.
They're all it all connects.
Yeah.
And it's puzzle pieces along the way that make it make sense.
Yeah. And that's what's so cool, how it just weaves in and out.
Through history. And you get all these, even just little things there'll be a TV on in the background and you see something happening as Forrest is doing something else over here. There's just, it's just so cool.
Yeah. Now, people have speculated for years that Jenny had AIDS, which I think would make the most sense.
Yeah.
They're saying, no, it's like, the director said, no, it's hepatitis, but...
Doesn't that kind of lead? No. It
can kill you, but...
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Because she said she had a virus.
Yeah.
They don't know what it is.
Which could be AIDS in that time period.
Time period, doing drugs.
Yep.
Sleeping around.
Yep. Because people, it was the 60s and the 70s, the free love, everybody sleeping with everybody.
Yeah.
And she was a hippie. Yeah. And, like, that's why, like, she doesn't necessarily have to be, like, homosexual at that time. Like, they blamed it on homosexuals at first.
Yeah.
But, like, straight people were getting it, too.
Oh, yeah. And the way she was using
and sharing needles and all that, you're going to get, So, I think that would make more sense.
I think so, too. That makes a lot more sense. But
who am I to say?
We didn't direct the movie.
Do you have any other fun facts?
Tupac auditioned for Bubba.
Really?
Yeah, somebody else did too. Who was it? Oh, shoot. Somebody else that was like, oh, that would have been an odd choice.
He would have just made it under the wire, too.
But yeah, he didn't get the role.
No. Well, I think Bubba was cast perfectly.
Yeah. Oh, I loved Bubba.
He was perfect. And Jenny is Robin Wright. Mm-hmm. She was also in The Princess Diaries. Mm-hmm.
Who?
The princess. Like, she's... Jenny?
The Princess Diaries?
Or The Princess Bride, sorry. The Princess Bride.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Calm down, girl. Calm down.
I was very confused. I was like, Anne Hathaway? No. Oh,
yeah,
sure.
Sorry. I knew what I meant. And I'm trying to think. Lieutenant Dan. What's his name?
Gary Sinise,
yeah. And he does a lot for vets in real life. Mm-hmm. He has a bunch of charities for vets. Yeah.
I know that they were very particular with how they filmed his scenes because they
really wanted
him to look like
it and to be respectful to it.
Yeah, so like they put like blue tape on the bottoms of his legs so they could CGI it out.
And he had to sit on his legs all the time, right?
Like, something. I don't know. There was something they did.
In the wheelchair.
And then he would physically pick up his legs to make it look more accurate, like moving and stuff. Like how because
it would be dead weight. Yeah, you wouldn't have any feeling.
Yeah, and you can see it too as like in the very beginning when he's in the hospital, like his jerky movements, can't do anything for himself, and then as like then he comes across the horse again, and you see he's moving better and
he's got more independence.
And then towards the end, he's just doing everything he needs to do. Like it's a really nice.
Like even by the time they get on the shrimp boat, he's like able to like
hoisting himself up,
like looking out on the shrimp boat.
Yeah. So I think they handled that.
I do too, because they're showing like how it takes time to learn, to relearn, all that stuff.
It was driving me crazy who this other person was that auditioned for Bubba.
I wish I would know. Get your phone.
Okay.
Because I want to.
It's right here. Seriously, because I saw it and I was like, what?
And you think if it shocked you that much, it would stick with you.
I know, but now
Was it Biggie? Was it Biggie?
No, it wasn't. You audition for Bubba. Forrest Gump. Seriously, because I was like, nah, that would have been.
Wait. There's something too with Elvis in Forrest Gump. Oh, shoot.
Dave Chappelle was the other one.
No way.
Yes. Sorry.
I wish
Dave Chappelle.
Grab that for a second.
Oh, sorry. What?
There's something with Elvis.
Elvis.
Just look up Elvis
Forrest Gump.
Because there was something. It's either the actor or whoever was singing. No. We'll go up a little bit. Shoot, I remember this. It's been a couple weeks since I watched this.
Take it.
Oh crap. Dang it. Okay, I don't know. But I thought that it was like somebody singing but didn't get the credit, or it was like, I don't know. I don't remember. Maybe not.
We'll never know.
We'll never know. Maybe I'm confusing it with another movie.
Could be. That could be. I just had another one too, and it just left my brain because I got distracted by Elvis.
what you said about Dave Chappelle?
No, I just had it again, and then you said that. I'm crumbling. I'm having my men TV. I gotta go for a run.
Please think of it. Oh, crap.
I know. This is
terrible.
Bananas.
I know.
It's gone.
Okay. All right. Well,
Sorry,
I remember watching this and then showing this to every family member like we had.
Yes.
We took this tape everywhere. Like,
yes. I feel like Dad was like the first one who saw it and then was like, wait till you see this.
It'll change your life. Was it about who was going to play Forrest, maybe?
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe. There was somebody else who was supposed to play Forrest.
Like, they got close and then they recast as Tom Hanks. Just put fun facts.
Fun fact for Forrest Gump. The people at home could do this too. They could,
but they're tuning in to see us for this
exact
brand.
moment. Oh, that's what it was.
Okay.
I feel like it's a common fact now. Like, I've seen it floating around on social media, so you may already be privy to this information. But the little kid cast as Forrest.
Oh yeah.
They were like, oh, Tom Hanks, what accent are you going to use? We need to, like, teach this kid how to do it. And they're like, he said, I think it'd be easier if I just copied his accent. Because he was Southern.
That's awesome!
Yeah, so, like, that kid really talked to me. That's his real voice. And so then Tom Hanks mimicked that kid's accent to make it accurate.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I think it'd be easier to do
he's like, I think, because he heard him talk and he was like, that's what
perfect.
It should be.
Yeah. That's perfect.
Because he was Southern, like,
I like
deep Southern.
That is a cool, I didn't know that, so. Yeah. I don't think it's as well spread as
maybe not, man. I just get odd things coming up in my reels that, like, hey, you'll like this movie facts.
But we thank you so much for joining us. I love this movie.
Yes.
It holds up still.
Good.
It's so good. It's a classic. I mean, it got kind of overblown for a while, but you have to at least see it once in your life.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It should be like part of like high school
history.
I think so
too.
Like end of the year, watch this.
And then like say like, you know, you can even stop. Well, okay, so this is what happens in the movie, but this is what happened in real life.
Yeah.
This is, you know, that'd be a good teaching moment for a history teacher.
Jot that down.
When I taught abnormal psychology, I used to assign, I had this same assignment when I was in grad school, and I used to assign it to my college students too, was like, I'd give them a list of movies to pick from, and they would pick, and then they had to diagnose the character and explain why they thought this, and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. So,
Forrest Gump will be a good one. There's a lot to choose from.
I like using movies in teaching moments.
You like movies?
I love them.
What? This is new.
But I think that's a good way to get kids interested too, because I remember when I got that assignment, I was like, that makes it more interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But we thank you for joining us. If you look below under our description here, please click on our social media links for Facebook and Instagram. We are at Sisters and Ebert. Please like, follow, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. Ring the bell on YouTube to get our notifications every time we post a video. And we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, and thanks for hanging around during this fun fact debacle.
Yeah.
It wasn't so fun, was it?
We imploded a little bit.
We're real tired.
Yeah.
I think I'll go home now.
I think I'll go home now. But we thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you at the movies.